early on at Yorko, we found the magic moment, if you will. The magic moment wasn't when someone sends a message out to employees. It's when an employee sends a message back is when the light bulb flips. Real communication isn't just talking at people.
Right.
It's giving people the ability to have a conversation. So two-way is super key.
There's a lot of information there that could be taken from a company perspective as to what employees are doing. Are they happy? Are they unhappy? What do we need to do to be better for the employee?
So that is where AI really comes in to help with that analysis, because there are a lot of data points, but it's also something we offer our customers that are able to run that type of
All right, so we've got Brodie Meyer here from Yorko. Brodie, final day of SHRM. We're live. You got this massive audience staring at you, so don't get nervous. There was a massive audience, but they gave away all their bags.
Okay.
And then they left. They didn't come for us.
Got
they
it.
came for the bags, and then they left. So, but Brodie, so let's give the pitch of Yorko. So I met you yesterday walking around, and you gave me a phenomenal overview of the company, so thank you. But for the audience, what is Yorko?
Yeah. Yorko is an SMS-based frontline employee platform. What does that mean? We found in the industries that we serve, more traditional industries, manufacturing, construction, transportation, hospitality, retail, that their frontline employees, which make up a majority of their business, typically, they're not given a company email address. They don't want to download or utilize a mobile application. If they start using one, engagement drops off. Right. They're not. They typically speak different languages. As well.
So we talking more like when you say frontline, let's define that. So truck drivers, manufacturing. What else?
Folks on the line, folks out in the field on a job site.
Right.
Associates in a hotel. The people that
hospitality, sure.
Exactly. The people that are either building the things or interacting with the folks, with your customers.
They're not at a desk. Yeah. So
exactly. Yeah.
So let's talk about engagement for frontline employees. Historically, that's been just a hot mess. A lot of companies think they do it really well, but when you ask the employees, they're not doing it very well at all. In fact, it's usually just the opposite. Where's that disconnect?
The disconnect is they are not reaching these frontline employees where they're currently at. They're trying to teach them new habits, which is it doesn't work. It just the folks have trouble with change, especially if it's coming from the business asking them to utilize a mobile application or something in order to digitally communicate with these folks. They struggle with it. For many, logistically, it's hard for implementation is the default. And then usage just drops off over time. So you really, what we always say to clients and partners is you got to meet your frontline employees where their attention already is.
Which is, I don't have my phone, right on their phone.
Right on their phone, in their text messages. That's really where the basis of our success so far has been, is being able to drive actual frontline employee engagement. Two-way. I think the other big piece to this is real communication isn't just talking at people.
Right.
It's giving people the ability to have a conversation. So two-way is super key to making that happen.
It's interesting you say that, because similar to like email marketing or any of the other, things where you can measure engagement, right? From opens to reads to clicks and, all the basic stuff, they'd never measure two-way communication and engagement. It's always, we sent a text message to 300 employees and 250 of them saw the message. Okay. If I scroll down, I'm going to see the message. That doesn't mean I've consumed it.
Exactly.
Certainly doesn't mean I've acted on it or done anything with it. But how do we measure that? How do we actually measure engagement and get the person who's in a truck driving, loading at a dock somewhere, to actually do something?
How we measure it, it's really for our platform in particular, it's about the employee actually responding or even initiating a communication in to the company number.
Okay.
Early on at Worko, we found the magic moment, if you will. The magic moment wasn't when someone sends a message out to employees. It's when an employee sends a message back is when the light bulb clicks.
When they initiate it or when they reply?
Either or. It just opens up that dialogue. We've had clients tell us, there's folks out in the field that they've never spoken with before.
Yeah.
Over like 8 years, and now all of a sudden they have this open line of communication, and it's just magical.
It's similar to probably to a lot of people that I mean, I see new people every time I come to an event. They're like, hey, I recognize your head, or hey, I recognize your face. It's like, yeah, because they've only seen my social profile.
Right.
For the last 5 years. They've been following stuff that we're doing.
Right.
And then they see you live at an event or something like that. And
it becomes real.
It becomes real. Yeah. And now, sometimes you don't want it to become real. No, I'm just kidding. I love you all. But it's from the frontline perspective, even from a regular employee, like an office worker, HR doesn't necessarily know, or, a lot of executives don't actually know their employees.
Right.
But when you're a frontline employee, you're out in the field, you're at the loading dock, you're at a hospital, you're doing something. And you can now, in a line of communication with an executive or with HR, get your benefit question answered, whatever it is, easily, and not, take 3 hours or have to wait 24 hours for a response. That makes a difference.
100%.
I would also assume, I'm going to assume, but you tell me, that makes a happier employee.
100%. And that's another thing we really focused on early on, was not only the two-way engagement piece, but what is the employee experience through this, and what is HR's experience and supervisors and managers' experience? Because if one is off, you don't have it. To us, you don't have a successful customer. You want the end user and the administrators and managers to enjoy the platform and be happy.
So how do we measure happiness? I'll talk about that, because that's some companies have the little, you see them like on the wall. You hit the smiley face or the sad face. If you're happy, pulse checks and stuff like that. How do we really measure happiness on frontline markers?
Yeah, so you can do polling, you can do surveys, you can do all the things you just mentioned, but you may not get the actual true data.
Yeah.
They're great data points to utilize, and we provide that in our platform to be able to do those things too. But what's really interesting is if you can analyze the internal communications that are actually happening, you can really start to understand what's the underlying sentiment here.
Yes.
Are employees actually happy? Are there any indicators of potential turnover?
And if you're having 50,000, let's say 50,000 conversations, 50,000, back and forth conversations over the course of a year, whatever that number is, there's a lot of information there that could be taken from a company perspective as to what employees are doing. Are they happy? Are they unhappy? What do we need to do to be better for the employees?
Are there safety issues
that
are going unreported but came through a communication? And so that is where AI really comes in to help with that analysis, because there are a lot of data points, but it's also something we offer our customers, that they're able to run that type of reporting on top of their communication.
And I'd imagine that's, for me anyway, would be a deal closer, where I can now see if I have 30,000 employees on the front line. I'm thinking UPS, for example. Right. My brother-in-law works for UPS. I'm sure he loves it. He's been there for 30 years. But I'm sure there's moments where he hates his job. And he doesn't, he's in the field, he's doing something. At that moment, he needs something. And then he doesn't get it because there's no way for him to get it. And then he's got to wait till he gets back into the facility. And by then, he has to load another truck, so he never gets his question answered. And then it goes undiagnosed or whatever, and he's unhappy. 25 interactions later, or 25 build-ups later, you lose an employee. And that's what we're preventing here.
Yes.
I love that. I love that. Dude, thank you so much, man.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Note, another challenge that we really needed to understand as we started to get more pull into upper mid-market, large enterprise clients is, well, how do you manage the two-way communications? Because we want to maintain two-way FEMs.
Yeah.
It is where the magic happens. But if you have 30,000, 40,000, 50,000,
How do you do it?
how do you do that? So we've come up with a method to allow for localized two-way communications.
Okay.
So a company will set us up at specific plants, job sites, facilities, hotels.
Not the whole company, just in that procedure.
You got it. And then we provide an enterprise layer at the top that allows for more data analysis and one-way comms where the corporation doesn't need to manage all of the
Right. So Walmart, for example, all their locations have their own.
Right.
Corporate has their own, where they can then say by region, by district, by store, by company.
You got it.
I love that.
And then the folks that can actually make a change that are local are getting the actual communications happening to them, the managers that can actually make the change for the frontline there.
How many, and you may not know this offhand, how many we'll just say at a typical customer, how many two-way communications do they experience per month?
It varies by customer. I don't have the data off the top of my head, but a lot.
Yeah, a lot. I would assume a lot. Yeah.
It only increases over time because it starts to become more of the motion and then the dedicated communication way. So
yeah, and I was thinking of that because it's the amount of data that you guys can capture there, but two, we in a previous company we use Slack,
right?
And I'd say, I don't really use Slack all that much. Well, then I go look at the analytics. I'm like, holy shit, 350,000 messages this quarter. Like, are you kidding me?
Right.
Like, I remember seeing these numbers thinking, there's no possible way. Like, that's wrong. But the amount of information that could have been pulled from that to make our company better would be crazy unsaid.
100%.
Yeah, for sure.
Communication is the core.
I love this, man. I love what you guys are doing, and I love the story. So I appreciate it, man. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Ryan. Appreciate it.